Don't yell at me, but I really feel like in today's generation, having a boyfriend can be pretty embarrassing. Just let me explain, don't come for me. But with the way today's generation of some men be moving, and I said some, is so heartbreaking to come to terms with as you grow up. You can't imagine the countless stories I've heard from my own friends, women online, everywhere. It feels like a universal humiliation ritual, from the disrespect to the physical abuse to financial abuse, psychological abuse, abandoning their children emotionally and physically, and so much more on that list. And yes, I know I can't generalize, but it's just the common stories I've heard through others and all of the stuff that really puts me off the concept of having a relationship with a guy. When I was younger, I found myself so drawn to fictional love stories and fictional men than what I saw in real life. And I still pretty much feel the same way even up until now. Most women I've come across also find themselves sucked into that kind of world too. And I think that speaks volume about love and our society and the way we all perceive it. In fact, let me tell you a story of my last crush I had. This situation made me upset not only for myself, but his girlfriend too. What sucked even more was learning about his true character from this situation. There was a lot that I learned from the entire situation, and it's even what made me see love in a weird light too, and kind of motivated me in making this video. Before we get into that, hello people and welcome to my channel. This is Orchid Whispers, the channel that serves pretty much as a digital diary with my musings and thoughts about whatever interests me at the moment. As always, this is my Sims OC, Kimura, who I love vicariously living through in terms of fashion and clothes to stop me from breaking bank in real life. If you're new to the channel, make yourself comfortable, grab a snack or a drink, get cozy. Feel free to browse through the other journal pages or entries on my channel if you please. And if you've been sticking with me for a while, hello again, my lovely divas. I hope life has been good to you and you're living a fun and sexy life like I am. I'm back with a new video, and one that might feel very touchy and sensitive to some people because I was the other woman in this story. The girl that other girlfriends hate their boyfriends to be around. Yes, I was put into that role. Against my own will, actually. You never hear so much about the perspective of the other woman, but today I'm about to dive deep into it. So sit tight because it is quite long and dramatic. Let's start by setting up the scene. So, I had a crush on this guy. We'll call him Slim Shady. So, during the time Slim Shady and I met, I initially developed what I thought would be a small crush on him, but I never really spoke to him when I first met him. Mainly because when it comes to handling crushes, I've grown quite shy. In the past, I used to be the person that shoots my shot first and would always be asking guys out. But eventually, because of all the compiled rejections, I became more shy at being the person to make the first move to other people. But back to this crush, we would mostly just stare at each other. And I know that most people would be like, oh, I can never tell when someone likes me from the way they look at me. But I always feel like people who say that are either just lying or maybe they're just generally oblivious. But to other people in general, you can always tell. There's a reason why the phrase, the eyes, Chico, they never lie, exists. Because it's true. The way he would look at me was very deep and intimate, and most times I would see that happening from my peripheral vision too when I wasn't looking at him. There was a lot of unspoken tension when we looked at each other, yet we were both too awkward to take it further with each other. There were times we would try to talk, and he would fumble on his words, and I would also awkwardly giggle too. The point is, I could tell that it was mutual. I could tell I liked him and he liked me too. The only problem was that I was too shy to talk to him more or take things anywhere. And well, he wasn't really a shy person in general. He was quite the opposite. He was pretty extroverted and very popular with people and making friends with other people as well. But when it came to me, he was genuinely shy, like blushing and turning red and all that jazz. Anyway, at that point, I started seriously working on my confidence because this was the first time I could feel something romantic was mutual with me and another person. My past crushes were always one sided, and my feelings for the other person were never reciprocated before. So this felt really new and exciting for me, seeing someone have those feelings for me back. And even though past crushes ruined a bit of my confidence when it comes to talking to people, I still wanted to at least try to take it somewhere by working on my confidence. But by the time I gained some bit of confidence to talk to him after a few weeks, he got into a relationship with another girl. We'll call this girl Faye. Now, let me just add more information to what had already happened here. You see, before the relationship, around the same time I was crushing on Slim Shady, Faye seemingly had a problem with me. And the only reason I say this is because there was a particular moment in time where Slim Shady and I were staring at each other, and from the corner of my eyes, far behind him, I could see Faye glaring daggers through my soul. And I was taken aback by that situation because while we didn't really talk so much, she was friendly with me. It wasn't anything deep with each other, but we were just casually friendly with each other. I never had a problem with her, but at that moment, she seemed super pissed off that Slim Shady was looking at me, and it was really strange to me. So for her to suddenly be with him after I caught on to that moment was really surprising. And yeah, I definitely was hurt, of course. I really liked him too. I thought we had something going on, but of course it didn't work out. And I had to accept that and respect their relationship. I had to spend time getting over it for my own sake and my mental health. The thing was, trying to heal from him took up almost a year. It took up almost up to a year, which was very long. But then again, I also remember that I hadn't had a crush in a really long time until I met him. But at the same time, I think he was also playing with my feelings as well. I didn't get in the way of their relationship during the time I was getting over my feelings I had for him. I didn't get closer to him. I just wanted to be neutral with everything and move on. However, there was a lot of strange shit I noticed at that time that they were in a relationship. You see, even after they both got together and started dating, Slim Shady would still stare at me, and not just a quick glance, but full on staring too. What made this worse is the majority of the time, he would stare at me right in front of his girlfriend, Faye. What hit the nail on the coffin was also the fact that whenever he was staring at me in front of her, she would be glaring at me. Like, what? It was so intense. And this lasted for so long during the entire year I was getting over him, and the years after that, too. It was really serious. He made me wondering, why couldn't you just physically leave the space you were in? It was a bit hard to get away from the situation because we were all part of the same club. I love this club, and I wanted to use it as an outlet to heal from the whole thing by focusing on my art and my craft. I didn't want to give up being in a club I really loved for the sake of avoiding him staring at me, because he should know how to handle his own gaze, right? Very wrong. That was the biggest thing I learned about him every time without a fail. This guy would stare at me even when his girlfriend was next to him, and his girlfriend would always glare at me, looking very offended. See, I would understand if it were a situation where the other girl was going after your man. The glaring would make sense in that context, but that wasn't the case with me because I just wanted to move on. So for her to still glare at me, that kind of gave me a signal that maybe she felt threatened by me or she just genuinely didn't like me. To add to this, remember how I said how long it took for me to get over feelings I had for him and how he was playing with my feelings? Yeah, so while he would stare at me, there were also other times he would be randomly affectionate with her, and it always happened usually in front of me. It didn't matter if other people were around, didn't matter the time or the place. If he saw me in the room, he would be affectionate with her and made sure to always look back at me while kissing or hugging her up. Guys, when I tell you how strange it was so strange. And at the time, I had no idea what the proper term for this was, but now that I do, that was definitely him trying to triangulate us, staring at me to make her jealous and to hate me, but also showing affection to her when I was in the room, just to get us to hate each other and bring the worst out of us, all for the sake of feeding his ego and feeling like girls want him or that he's desirable or something. And if you're in a situation like this, you wouldn't even realize when you're swept into this mess. It just felt super confusing, but I'm glad that I didn't go deeper into all that weird energy he was sending. Now, speaking of their relationship dynamic with each other, what I found about their relationship is how much she loved to show him off on social media. Now, let me make this clear. Showing off your boyfriend online is not wrong. If I were in a relationship, I would also be doing the same thing. We live in an age of social media, and that's pretty much the norm to do so. That isn't really a problem with me. But from studying Faye's behavior and how much she was very obsessed with showing off Slim Shady and every aspect of their relationship, you know, Instagram highlights of him, posting him pretty much every day, or posting relatable BF content online, which again is fine. But from all of this, I and other people aware about their relationship could tell how much she really values showing off and presenting her relationship on social media. She would love posting pictures of him online, pictures of them together, etc., etc. That was one of the main things she valued about her relationship with him. And let me explain why. There came a point where everyone who was watching their relationship online could tell that it was upsetting Faye that Slim Shady wasn't showing her off online to the extent that she was doing with him. He didn't have an Instagram highlight dedicated to her like she did with him. He didn't follow her back on some social media platforms. I mean, he still posted her every now and then, but it wasn't as intense or as frequent as how she did it. She would post about him almost every single day. And the only reason I can confidently say everything about how she values showing off her relationship online and how much that is a priority to her is because for their entire first year of being together and her posting all about him and showing him off, during their 1 year anniversary, she obviously posted him to celebrate their big milestone because that's what she loves doing. And also, it's a pretty normal thing for people to celebrate their relationship milestones online. And not once did this guy make his own post about their 1 year anniversary. He just reposted her post on his Instagram story. And it baffled a lot of people because the day before their anniversary, he made a casual photo dump post being like, "This is my life lately," and yada yada yada. But he couldn't even make his own anniversary post about his own relationship. And it's not like he never posted her in the past. He has, occasionally. But for such a big thing, for such a big event, he didn't post her at all. And that to me is like so embarrassing. I get everyone is different with whether they choose to share their relationships online or not, but in a way, I kind of feel for her because it's like you put all your time and effort into making posts about this guy and showing him off and doing all of these like lovely things and going above and beyond. And he doesn't even show up on what's meant to be a special day. It's like, does he even give a damn? But no, there is more. Wait. Thinking about it makes me feel icked out, and I can't believe I ever liked him. But I need to progress with the story because this was such an eye opening thing for me. Shortly after the whole anniversary post situation, I would say about a month after their anniversary, she takes down the anniversary post and she also takes down any post that had his picture show up first on photo dump posts. And it felt so out of character for her to do something like that. I mean, she was pretty much known to be Slim Shady's girlfriend. So why was she erasing that part of herself all of a sudden? Then the rumors started coming in from everyone. People were talking about it. I heard some people had said that it almost felt like she was trying to erase him from her brand in a way. And it's perfectly normal to have your own brand or identity in this case. But I think the fact that it happened after the whole anniversary post situation made it seem out of character for her. Because everyone had been so used to her entire image being involved with another person, from her hobbies to her style, and even the phrases she would say. It was all picked up from him, which is just a relationship thing that happens, yes. But the fact is that when people learn about her or have a first impression of her, it's all about her boyfriend. It isn't really about her as a person. So when people are used to your image being surrounded by one person, the moment you try to do something alone or independently, it almost feels dramatic. Many people started commenting about how he's not that into her or that he must not really love her. I remember at one point she even reposted a post that was about how much she, as the girlfriend, hated having to go to somewhere alone and have everyone around her only ask about her boyfriend. I don't know, it all just feels super humiliating. Imagine posting about the love of your life so much on social media while having to deal with them staring and eyeing other people and having the whole anniversary post situation happen and then taking it all down and having many people comment about it. It's like, yeah, now I understand what people mean when they say dating in this generation feels like a humiliation ritual, because it really does come across that way. He embarrassed her in so many ways whenever he would take the chance to look at me, and it pained me so much for her. That is not what true love is about, and that is not what a happy relationship should look like at all. No matter how much people try to normalize wandering eyes, sometimes I even think it feels more than the relationship itself. Faye just hasn't really liked me, but she'll sometimes pretend we're on cool terms, and that kind of behavior feels so obvious to me. I can definitely sense she has a lot of internal things to work on. I'm also pretty disappointed with her boyfriend too, because I'm so glad I wasn't in her place. It sounds crazy to say, but I'm really glad that I wasn't in her place. I didn't realize that he was the kind of person to have such a huge wandering eye like that. Whether it was a way to make me jealous or make me feel bad about not having the balls to talk to him, it really wasn't okay. And then to go on and form a whole triangulation thing going on between me and her is even crazier. Like, is that not your girlfriend, bro? His behavior was very off to me, and it made me snap out of my crush on him. Because if he can do this to her, he can do this to anyone. For girls in a situation of being the other woman, it can make you feel all special, or that you're the girl that got away and that you're the one that he can never ever get over. But you need to be better than that. The thought of a guy you like putting another woman through that should churn your stomach so badly. A man in a relationship should not be looking at other people in a certain way. If he can do that sort of thing to someone who's considered his girlfriend, then he can do that to you too. No woman is exempt from that kind of behavior. And this is just what I've seen from Faye's experience. I haven't even touched deeply on the topic of women experiencing all types of abuse from their boyfriends. Looking back on everything, it was really about his ego and pride. Slim Shady wanted to feel wanted, and Faye was just a person who could happily provide that to him while he uses her to capture other women's attention. But it came with the price of damaging her self esteem, and that's not something that can be easily taken back or forgotten. The kind of situation she experienced isn't the kind of stuff that just goes away. This kind of thing leaves such a deep wound in many. That man has planted a very deep insecurity in herself in her relationship because now she doesn't even have anyone she can really trust to turn to. There will be times in your relationship where you'll feel insecure and confused about why you were even chosen in the first place, and it's normal. In those times, it feels really reassuring to know that you're honestly loved. But in her case, I can't imagine if that's how she would even feel. Even if she turns to him for reassurance, somewhere in the back of her mind, she's gonna feel that she's not what he really wants because of how he's had wandering eyes for other girls. And that pains me for her. I can understand why she may get frustrated with me in this situation or even hate me, but I hope one day she also comes to realize that she's taking out her frustrations on the wrong person. He's the one causing the tension in the relationship that's meant to be her safe space. And I've noticed how much this affects her mentally. The stuff I've seen her repost is wild and a bit obsessive too. She compares herself to me or women who look like me. She thinks badly about her weight. In fact, the only thing she loves about her body is her boobs. And do you want to know how I know about that? Because she's told multiple people about the embarrassing story of how she accidentally flushed Slim Shady and how he complimented that aspect of her body before they were dating. And every time she narrates that story, she sneakily takes a look in my direction to see how I'll react to it. She even goes as far as stalking my pages and my every move just to see how she can size up to me. It's deeply unhealthy and embarrassing, and I know her boyfriend sees that behavior in her too. There's no way he doesn't notice it, but he doesn't do anything to make his girlfriend feel more secure about their relationship because of the ego trip he gets from this entire situation. And it is so wrong because if you truly loved your girlfriend, you wouldn't want her going through all these things and fighting so much mental battles with her self esteem and her worth. Call me an old head, but I really think it should be the other way around. He's supposed to be the one worshipping the ground she walks on and viewing her as a goddess. But instead, she's having to fight for security and loyalty in her relationship and still deal with internal feelings of low self worth because of his behavior. All of the weird ways he was behaving broke my heart so much. I thought he would be a genuine person. It really revealed another side to him I never ever expected. And I feel so sorry for his girlfriend and how much this is damaging her relationship with herself. It taught me a lot more about relationships and things like a loyalty, too. I was never really familiar with things like wandering eyes and emotional cheating before because I've had no dating experiences. The entire thing leaves me feeling quite bleak and depressed, honestly. I wish men were different. and could actually be in deep, committed relationships with who they choose instead of glancing over at the next girl. That sort of behavior is so damaging, and it's probably what drives Faye to not leave him. She feels like she has to prove herself and her love to him for him to want her as much as she wants him. But love is meant to be about flow between all parties involved in it. All I can say on this is, I wish her well. I hope that one day she opens her eyes up to the entire situation in a different light and finds love in herself not to accept this kind of treatment from him. Even though she was weird to me, I can't find myself to be mad at her. In fact, in a strange way, I take it as a huge compliment. She clearly saw something special in me amidst all the chaos of a relationship that she wanted to replicate for herself. And I don't take any offense to it. In fact, I really hope that she grows to find the traits that are special in her too. As for how I move ahead in romance and relationships, I'm not sure. I have trust issues from the entire thing. The triangulation and all sorts of manipulation Slim Shady was doing was really, really weird. And that stuck with me. As much as I liked him, I have to accept that I liked the version of him I thought I knew, and come to terms with the version of himself that he's shown. Which sucks, but hey, at least I know that he's that kind of person. I also want to find better ways to protect my energy and my peace because I sadly still get to see them in my day to day life. I just want to keep focusing on my energy. I want to be able to establish a strong identity in myself first before coming together with another person. I still feel like there's life experiences I want to have for myself before I come into a relationship with another. Or I could be wrong about that. The point is, I want to be more selfish moving forward. I want to focus on what I've got going on for me, and I want to make sure I achieve my personal wins and have the most fun in my life the way I want to. I'm just ready to be extremely selfish when it comes to myself and how I treat and soothe myself. And these are my own thoughts so far. Maybe in another video, I'll dive deeper into more specific lessons I've learned. But for now, I'll let the video end here. If you've ever been in a situation like this, please feel free to comment on it below, whether it's what you've learned or whether you've had the role of the boyfriend or the girlfriend or the other women in a situation like this. I'd love to read your comments about it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!